Welcome to the Kline May Realty Showcase. I'm Millie Cook with the Waynesboro office of Kline May Realty. If you see a home in our show today that you'd be interested in, please give me or one of our other agents a call. Thank you to our sponsors and enjoy the show.
Hey everyone, my name is Derek Shadori. I'm with Kline May Realty.
And I'm Veronica Amaro with F&M Mortgage.
Join us for our first time homebuyer seminar. We do it the first Friday of every month from 5:30 to 7:30 at the Kline May Harrisonburg location. Don't forget to RSVP.
And we will cover the basics of first-time home buying from the real estate point of view and the mortgage process.
We hope to see you there.
Hi, I'm Dee Dee Sencindiver, a realtor with Kline May Realty in Harrisonburg, and we're here at Northfield Court today taking a look at one of the properties that we've staged for a client of Kline May Realty. At Kline May Realty, we are a full-service brokerage, and with that, we provide complimentary staging services to our clients. Staging services include coming in and staging a vacant house like this one, and we also provide staging consultations to families that are still living in their house while they have it on the market for sale. Staging can really make a house look like a home. We bring in things to different rooms and place them in places that would really look like you're putting them there for your own home. A nice lantern, a plant, pillow and blanket, anything that we can add that's going to make it look more comfortable, inviting, and frankly, home-like. Some of the things that we do for the kitchen includes place settings, and this demonstrates to someone coming into the property that they would be able to have an eat-in counter and then still have room for a table here as well. Over here in this area, we've just got a few different little extras that just really blend in with the countertops and the cabinets, but overall, again, give it just a more homey feel. One of the things that we do for the baths, we bring in just some colorful things to spruce it up, a little plant to make it look open and airy, some candles, and some towels. Without the towels and the shower curtain and some of the things that accentuate the bath, it's just going to look very bare to a buyer coming in. It makes all the difference in a world, and that's the most important thing to Kline May, is to help our clients the most and provide them the best opportunity to sell their home. All right, well, thanks to everyone for joining us today and learning about Kline May Realty and our staging. Remember, if you're ready to sell your house, reach out to a Kline May Realtor. We'll provide you full service, get your house ready, get it staged, get it on the market, and get it sold.
We all want to give our kids the best of everything, the best nutrition, the best education, and the best place to grow up. Even the air they breathe. Lennox strives to provide the best air quality for your family's home, free of indoor air pollutants.
At Landis Heating and Air Conditioning, they can install a Lennox customized comfort system in your home. Let Landis sweat the details so you can relax in comfort. Call my friends at Landis Heating and Air Conditioning today.
Lennox, innovation never felt so good.
Hi, I'm Karl Waizecker, Principal Broker at Kline May Realty. Something's happening in the real estate industry right now that I think needs some explanation, what I call the new rules of real estate. What's happening is, because of a lawsuit and a nationwide settlement that involves some of the biggest franchises in the country and the National Association of Realtors and all of us who belong to the National Association of Realtors, there are some changes in the way that real estate agents operate. There are some changes in the way that buyers and sellers talk to their agents and negotiate agent fees. This will be a two-part video. In the first part, I think it's important for us to go back and talk about the history, how we got to this point, then a little bit about the lawsuit and the settlement. In our second part, I'll talk about the actual practice changes, what is different for agents, what's different for buyers, what's different for sellers. So if we go back to the beginning, before buyers had agents and before there was a multiple listing service where everybody shared their information, real estate agents typically sold their own listings. And that was it. If you came to me to see a house, I would show you my inventory of listings and then ask you which one of those did you want. If you wanted to see a house that was listed by somebody else, you'd need to go and work with that agent, and so on all around town until you found the house that you want. All the time that you were doing this, all those agents were working for the sellers, not for you. It was completely, at that point, a sales job, whereas now, with representation on both sides, it's very much a service job. So the next step in the process is brokers started to get together and say, you know what, it would probably be better for our sellers and for our buyers if everybody could see the whole market. So the multiple listing service was formed. Brokers in a similar geographic area would agree to submit all of their listing information to one central database so that all the buyers could see all the listings and make the best decision, and so the sellers could have their house marketed to all of the buyers in the market. It's a win-win for both of those folks. So in the early MLSs, in addition to sharing the information, the brokers agreed to share compensation as well, just as up until recently folks have done in our MLSs. And here's how it would work. The listing agent would say, here's my firm's fee for listing and selling your house. We're going to do our very best to sell your house, but I'm going to share all this information with every other agent in the area, and if one of those folks sells it before I do, I'm going to offer half of what you're paying me, or a portion of what you're paying me, doesn't necessarily have to be half, to that other agent, to make sure they're incentivized and compensated for helping to sell your house, which is what you hired me to do. So that works out best for everybody. The thing was, in the early MLSs, all of the agents were working for the sellers still. They were considered to be sub-agents of the seller. So even if I was taking you around town, showing you all kinds of properties from all different firms, I was considered to be a sub-agent of those sellers, and therefore the seller was sharing compensation with me. That became very confusing, understandably, for buyers, that the person they spend their whole time with and the person who they think is helping them negotiate actually was working for the other side. So in the 1980s, late 1980s, buyer agency, the concept of a buyer having an agent who looks out for their best interest, came into being, and by 1998, when I got into the business, it was becoming commonplace. There were no written agreements, but the concept was known, and that is the next step in this evolution, and how we got to the point where a listing firm is offering to share a portion of their earnings with a totally different firm if someone from that firm happens to sell the listing firm's home. In Virginia, there has been a law which requires agents to have a written agreement with their buyer clients since 2012. So we've been doing this far ahead of most of the rest of the country, to be honest with you. One difference, and we'll talk about the practice changes in the next video, but one slight difference for Virginia agents is the timing of when we need to get that agreement signed is a little bit different. In the lawsuit, the plaintiffs alleged that they didn't realize when they were signing their listing agreements that part of the fee they were paying to their firm was going to be paid to another firm, essentially the firm that was then negotiating against them. That was kind of the crux of the whole lawsuit. Another layer on top of that was the accusation that because the amount of compensation offered to cooperating firms was in the MLS, that gave buyer's agents the chance to pick and choose which listings they would show based on which ones made them the most money. That's a practice called steering. It is illegal, it is unethical, And frankly, in today's environment where every listing is on the internet, it's impossible because the buyers know all the listings anyway. There's no way an unethical agent could duck around one because it wasn't going to make them as much money as another. But the lawsuit went on for quite a while and the plaintiffs won. There was an award of $1.8 billion in damages, and because of the type of lawsuit it was, there's a possibility of that amount being tripled to over $5 billion, which is really a figure that's more than the entire industry is worth, so it's almost laughable, but that's where things ended up. So the National Association of Realtors and all of the big franchises which were involved in this particular lawsuit entered into various settlement agreements. The NAR agreed to pay $418 million to the fund which reimburses the plaintiffs, and then make some practice changes, some changes in the way we use the MLS, and the way we communicate agent to agent, and the way we communicate with our buyer clients. Those practice changes are what we'll talk about in our next segment. Those practice changes took effect August 17th of this year, so we're fresh into it and we're all kind of learning our way. If you have questions about any of this or would like some more information, I'll be happy to chat with you. Just shoot me an email at info@klinemay.com and we'll start a conversation. Thanks. Hi, I'm Karl Waizecker, Principal Broker at Kline May Realty. Thank you for joining me on the 100th episode of Q&A with Kline May. Today, to celebrate, we're here in the beautiful JMU Arboretum, surrounded by nature and forest. Huge thank you to all of you who have watched and who have said things to me out in public. One of the things that I really love and was a little surprised by in doing this series was this is supposed to be about real estate questions with a little bit of coffee to make it interesting. And through the 2 years that we've been doing this, I've been stopped dozens of times in public by people who recognize me as the coffee guy. And they ask me about coffee. Not once has anybody asked me about real estate. So for our 100th celebration episode, it's going to be all about coffee. And I'm going to be letting you know, out of those past 100, what's my top 5. So our number 5 coffee for these first 100 episodes is Valkyrie Farms Spruce XXX. And to tell you the truth, I really love this coffee and probably would have ranked it higher, except for the fact that it is a bit of a specialty coffee not everybody would like, in that the beans are soaked in bourbon before they're roasted. And then number 2, sadly, it's not available anymore. But Valkyrie Farms Spruce XXX, a fantastic cup of coffee. Our number 4 coffee is Red Rooster's Sumatra. If you've watched before, you probably know that I love the Red Rooster coffee folks down in Floyd, Virginia. They have several different blends. The Sumatra is a wonderful, strong, rich, without being bitter type of coffee. But truly everything that comes out of Red Rooster I like. Cheers to you guys, great coffee. Our number 3 coffee today is Noble Tree Defiance. That's one I was not familiar with, and it was such a pleasant surprise. This coffee is grown in Brazil. It's roasted in Brooklyn, New York, which is a little bit of a surprise to me. And boy, when I first tasted that, I remember thinking it was just absolutely fantastic. When we first tried this coffee, I was not familiar with this brand, and it was a really pleasant surprise. Just a super strong, flavorful cup of coffee. A little bit of sweetness behind it, which is a bit unusual without sweetener added. Just a fantastic cup of coffee. Thank you to the folks at Noble Tree. I'm very glad to have discovered you. Our number 2 coffee is Stumptown Roasters Hairbender. Stumptown, this was the first Stumptown coffee I had tried. The Hairbender name made me a little bit curious to see if that was meant that it was going to really wake you up in the morning, and it was a great, bold cup of coffee with super flavorful without being overpowering. And that led me to several of the other roasts from Stumptown, and I can tell you those things are all fantastic. Cheers to all of you. And our number 1 coffee out of our first 100 episodes is from the Coffee Clatch in the Dayton Farmers Market here locally, and that is their Blue Ridge blend. This is probably my perfect cup of coffee. Super bold, also super smooth at the same time. If you haven't been out to the Coffee Clatch in the Dayton Farmers Market, make a trip out there and try their coffee. Great job. So once again, I'd like to thank everybody for watching over these last 100 episodes. If you've got a real estate question for me or a coffee you'd like me to try, you can send that to me at questions@klinemay.com. So stay tuned. We've got some fun things planned for you in our next 100 episodes. As always, we'll see you next time.
What if you could take advantage of lower mortgage rates without refinancing? With DuPont Community Credit Union's new Rate Drop Mortgage, you can. DCCU's Rate Drop Mortgage lets you lower your rate every 12 months if rates drop. Just pay a processing fee per rate adjustment. No refinancing or new closing costs required. Enjoy flexible home financing with DCCU's Rate Drop Mortgage. Visit mydccu.com or talk to a mortgage advisor today to get started.
Having the power of Kline May behind me in real estate because of who they are and what the company stands for aligns with my core beliefs of service, not sales, and I just think it goes hand in hand. The technology they have, what's provided for us, access to help and assistance along the way is very important, and it has definitely increased my productivity over the years and to be a part of this community.
When I started off as an agent with Kline May, their first goal was to kind of connect me with a mentor. They had an individual who did a couple-week training course with me during that time period. I'd say that, you know, if I have any question to any agent, they've been more than willing to be able to help me if I'm kind of out of my area of expertise. You know, I could reach out to Karl and he'll kind of line me up with an agent, and they've been more than willing to help me in whatever that area might be.
Welcome to the Kline May Realty Showcase. Thank you to our sponsors for today's show. Enjoy everything today. Welcome to the Kline May Realty Showcase. I'm Millie with the Kline May. We hope you enjoyed the show, and thank you to our sponsors. See you next week.